No mai haere mai, and welcome to a windy and wild Porirua Park for this Ninja A-League match between Wellington Phoenix and Central Coast Mariners. The Knicks are flying high on a 4-game winning streak as they make a push to the finals for the very first time. They briefly went top of the table last week and could be there again at full time today, but their opponents, the Central Coast Mariners, are the reigning champions. Although their title defence was dealt another heavy blow with top goal scorer Annelies Rasmussen departing for Italian giants Juventus after their last match. They sit on the fringe of the top 6 and will be keen to spoil the party in New Zealand's capital. I'm Seamus Martin, joined in commentary by former football fern Priscilla Duncan. And Priscilla, ominously for the hosts, they have never managed to beat the Mariners in 4 previous attempts.
Thanks, Seamus. Yeah, this is going to be a real test for the Phoenix today in more ways than one. There's the weather to deal with, there's the fact that Mariners are coming off a bye and will be highly motivated to get the 3 points they need to get back into the top 6. And as you said, they're the reigning champions, so if Wellington are going to make it 5 wins from 5 today, they'll have to be at their best.
Well, Wellington, recent form on their side, led by Mackenzie Barry on a club record 4-game winning streak. How dearly they would love to make it 5 from 5 today. For the Central Coast, history is on their side, yet to lose against their hosts today. 4 previous encounters. Their last win, though, in the A-League, coming in the F3 derby in round 12 over a month ago. Now, as we take a look at the Ninja A-League ladder, you will see Wellington with a chance to go top at the end of the match today, although it may only be for hours. The Melbourne derby coming up hot on the heels of this clash in Aotearoa, New Zealand. Crucially, though, a match in hand for Wellington. The Central Coast Mariners just 1 point outside the top 6. Don't count them out of the playoff conversation. Let's check in with the 2 team lineups. One change to the Mariners. Millie Farrow has been given the nod to start in place of the departed Annelies Rasmussen. It's a first start this season for Farrow, and she will partner Peter Trimmis up front. The midfield of Levin, Krasula, Prakash and Gomez will support the goal push. In goal, Annalie Grove is yet to keep a clean sheet in her 10 matches to date. And Eliza Familton comes onto the bench together with fellow teenager Tiana Fuller, are 2 that could chase a goal if needed in the later stages of the match. Well, one Cap Matilda, Izzy Gomez, is an outside chance for the AFC Women's Asia Cup squad that we announced later this week. 6 assists and 2 goals so far in this campaign. The former Wellington Phoenix player scored when these 2 teams last met in March 2025. 3 changes to Wellington. Grace Jarley picked up a head knock last week and is rested as a precaution. Daisy Brazendale comes into midfield with Emma Pynenberg dropping to the bench, and Mania Elliott starts at left wing back. Pynenberg and Lara Wall take their place on the bench, joined by Tiana Jaber, added to the matchday squad. And there is a positional change for Lucia Leon, and a first start for Mackenzie Anthony, who partners fellow American Michaela Woods up top. Well, Woods, the American striker, scored her 3rd goal in 4 starts since joining the club in January. Her finish on the stroke of half-time was enough for a 1-0 win over Perth, and she has been directly involved in 8 of the 12 last goals scored by Wellington. Well, Bev Priestman commented there are 21 points still up for grabs, and she'll be targeting 3 today. If her Wellington Phoenix are able to do it, it will be another first in a season of firsts. And despite the wild weather today, she is ecstatic to be back home at Porirua Park. Well, for Corey Babington, he appreciated the week off, giving his squad the chance to rest and recuperate. The narrative has been around who will replace the goals of Rasmussen. Farrow gets the nod today, but he is confident in the players he has at his disposal and of maintaining a 100% record against Wellington. Now, referee in control of the match is Anna-Marie Keeley. She's assisted by Alice Clipsham and Courtney Bremner, and our 4th official is Calvin Berg. Well, Porirua Park named as the venue with the best atmosphere by the PFA midway through season 25-26. They're a hearty bunch today. It is very difficult conditions, so much so we've had to move our broadcast position across from where we would normally be. Just wet and wild. underway. It's Wellington in the familiar yellow and black, attacking the goal to the right of your picture. Central Coast all in blue, with a really strong wind at their back, attacking the goal to the left. Early touch for Daisy Brazendale, who will play in front of the defensive line. In defensive midfield position. One of 3 changes made today by Bev Priestman's side. And Priscilla, a lot of interest around the absence of Grace Jale today. What do you think her absence perhaps will mean for Wellington?
Yeah, Grace Jale, just one of the regular starters for Bev Priestman, rested as a precaution this week, and a good opportunity for Daisy Brazendale, sitting in front of those back 3 really, and Pia Vlock alongside her, trying to give Vlock still a free run in that middle of the park, but Daisy Brazendale will have to have that discipline just to kind of keep there and hold this midfield together.
Another area of interest, Brooke Nunn, of course, playing against her former employers, won a title with Central Coast last season. A warm welcome in to our friends across the ditch as well, in and around Gosford. Smile on the face of Mania Elliott, who continues to share left wing-back duties with Lara Wall. Played the second half against Perth last week, did Elliott. Expect to see Wall on in the second 45 later today as Lucia Leon playing a little deeper in a twin pivot role with Pia Vlock, described by Bev Priestman. Here is Leon. Just look to swing it into the path of one of the 2 Americans who start up front for the Wellington Phoenix today. Michaela Woods, who's been in hot form, and Mackenzie Anthony, who had her longest stretch in the yellow and black last week, 30 minutes off the bench in that win against Perth.
Yeah, great to see Mackenzie Anthony get her first start, coming in as that import named in January. Fellow American needing to link up with Michaela Woods, who's been in fine form, of course, with 3 goals and 5 assists so far.
Just the one change for the Mariners, an enforced one, with the departure of Annalise Rasmussen to Juventus. Early action inside the penalty area. Woods' shot is blocked on the line. Intervention was absolutely necessary. A half chance, really. Didn't get a strong connection, did Woods. Presence of mind by the Mariners' rear guard. It's all Wellington in the opening 3 minutes of this one. Real high intensity to the black and yellow as they go again. Woods just can't control this time. They've been quick out of the blocks, have Wellington, scoring 8 in the first 15 minutes of their matches this season, the highest in the league.
Yeah, really like to see this from the Phoenix. Ellie Walker getting into some advanced position down that right-hand side, getting the ball in on the first occasion, and Woods trying to spin and get the shot off, but it was blocked, and had another chance just a moment later. So good link-up play already in that attacking third for the Phoenix.
It's listed as a 4-4-2. You rightly made the observation, Priscilla. It's more a 3-5-2 almost, with Brooke Nunn and Mania Elliott employed as wing-backs, leaving a central defensive trio of Vandermeer, Barry and Walker.
Walker it is there, who got the ball in, and just a bit of a mix-up at the back there. The keeper didn't come for it, and Woods with the shot off and straight into the defender, who did well in the end.
A couple of former Wellington Phoenix players in the Mariners team today. Annabelle Martin, the Centurion, and Izzy Gomez, a clever ball through into the path of Woods, who looked to link back up with Lucia Leon. And the wind will probably pick that up. We saw in the warm-ups Victoria Essen really struggling with the wind blowing right into her face. You can see the corner flags on the far side. They will be almost bent horizontally at times, such as the breeze at the back of the Mariners. I can assure you it's a lot windier than that at ground level. Mariners just looking to get themselves into the match now. defending champions. It's been a difficult season for them on and off the field. Injury. Issues around the club. Got the recent history, though.
Right idea there, getting the ball switched quickly and through to Peter Trimmer. So I think he's going to play a key part in this game. We've mentioned Annalise Rasmussen, top goal scorer for the Central Coast Mariners, having signed for Juventus. And it's scored most of the team's goals. So Peter Trimmer and others in that attacking side for Central Coast Mariners need to step up and try and get some goals for their team.
4 goals for Trimmis so far this season. Now moves atop the Central Coast Mariners Golden Boot standings. 11 for Rasmussen. She was in fine form. Only probably a matter of time before she was cherry-picked to go and ply her trade overseas.
Yeah, and a really good story, that one. Coming through the academy system at the Central Coast Mariners, Rasmussen, a 20-year-old, getting an opportunity to go overseas. It's tough to see those players leave the A-League, but also a great opportunity for players like that.
One of a number from last year's title-winning side that are now moved on. There are still plenty here. Trimmis is one of them. So sprinkled through Wellington's squad. Members of the team from season 24-25. There is an example of that win. And Victoria Essen in goal. Elected just to roll the ball over the sideline rather than concede a corner. Offside flag on 11. Celebrated her 50th appearance against the Brisbane Roar. Just her second start of the season today. Came off injured in that game. But a week off has allowed her to recuperate, and she takes her place back. That's a good ball in behind as well, and off goes Woods. Gets the better of Martin. Just leant on her. Did Martin. Good defending just to put her off her stride. Ball stayed in play as well. Well, threat in behind as we continue with the play. But Anthony and Michaela Woods will be willing runners in behind. Central Coast Mariners rear guard, which is very, very experienced.
It was a really good ball in behind, and that's what Bev Priestman said she wanted to see from her players. Getting that back line of Central Coast Mariners turned.
Millie Farrow thought she was in there. Just too quick. Thumbs up from the English striker. Her first start today. Dare say there'll be a little bit of pressure on her shoulders. 1 goal in her last 27 matches. Wellington. And it's back underway. Well, anything that's hit aerially from left to right is really going to get caught and hang up in that breeze. Brooke Nunn, I expect her to pick up a yellow card here for that rather cynical hangout of the leg on Lorena Baumann. Referee Anna-Marie Keeley electing for the no more.
Probably quite lucky there. Brooke Nunn, I think she meant to do that, clearly, and perhaps what's saving her is we're inside the first 10 minutes of the match. But as you said, Seamus, wouldn't have been surprised if that one had been given a yellow by Anna-Marie Keeley.
Well, perhaps something from the training ground last year for Brooke Nunn. Although Baumann has made the trip from the Newcastle Jets. Maybe a hangover from an F3 derby of years gone by. Rivalry resumes and Nunn gets the better of the Swiss defender. You just saw that ball start to hold up on the edge of the 18-yard box. Really difficult conditions for both these teams to have to not only contend with, but also work with as well, Priscilla.
Yeah, getting in behind will be, I think, what Bev has told her team to do, but that one just sat up in front of the defence line. They were just caught a little bit and eventually cleared their lines, but a good start from the Wellington Phoenix in these first 10 minutes.
Really difficult conditions for both goalkeepers. For 145 minutes, you'll have a gale blowing right in your face. And for the other 45, there'll be one at your back, and you'll be needing to make a decision on whether to come, whether to stay. So not only the opposition to think about, but also contend with these really strong winds that are blowing down Porirua Park. Martin just linking the play with Peter Trimmis. Transition, and forward goes Gomez. Prakash helps it on. Ali Walker steps across and concedes a corner.
Really nice bit of play from the visitors. And Bev Priestman has talked about those two, Gomez and Prakash. We see them linking up. They know each other so well, and that's where the goals are probably likely to come today for the Central Coast Mariners.
Yeah, keep an eye on that midfield quartet arriving late into the penalty area. Corner just hung up. In the end, partially cleared. As far as Bauman, who looks to try and help it on back into the 18-yard box, but the radar is off and it will go out for a goal kick. How difficult is it, Priscilla, as a player, when you're up against conditions like this?
Well, and I think sometimes people think it's the wind at your back, it's easier, that's the advantage perhaps, but when you try and put those through balls through and the wind is this strong, it perhaps just runs through out of play or straight through to Vic Essen for the Central Coast Mariners in this case. So, yeah, I think it's going to be interesting tactically there, where you don't want to sit too far back as well, too deep when you're facing into the wind. But I guess it's hard to say who's got the slight advantage, but it's certainly going to be a factor for both of them. And Wellington Phoenix are used to training in this, right? So they've got a slight advantage there, which they'll be used to this.
Yeah, comments from Bev Priestman. Match day -1. We love the Wellington weather. We train in it all the time. I want it to be as miserable as possible for Central Coast when they arrive. Well, she's got her wish. So made mention, did Bev Priestman, of not wanting to become the hunter, to remain the hunter, to remain hungry. It's not a position Wellington have often found themselves in the Ninja League, as the bounce of the ball just causes a little bit of hesitation from Victoria Essen. It was a good adjustment, Priscilla, to palm that away for a corner.
Yeah, and watching them in the warm-up, it was no fun at all for those goalkeepers. It's not the kind of weather you want to play in as a goalkeeper. She just misjudged this one, I think, took a step forward, and I thought she was going to just be able to claim that one, but perhaps lost her footing at the end there. Punches it out for a corner.
Wind really holding things up. Strong header by Ali Walker. Brooke Nunn eventually just puts her foot through it. Only as far as Trimmis. You can see there, almost hear it in the FX mics as well. Try not to make too much and labour the point about the weather. There's a header skids away for another corner. Well, I get the feeling, Priscilla, the first half might follow a lot of this, with Wellington really being pegged back into their defensive third.
They started brightly, didn't they? And it was all down the other end, but I guess as this wind picks up even more, you can see that at the corner flag, it's really pinning them back.
Another lower delivery now, it's a good one. Skids across the 18-yard box. At the feet of Vlock, who looks to launch a counter. And steps Bauman. Clever. Central Coast just looking to try and turn the screws on Wellington. Kash's touch is heavy. And Vlock concedes a foul on the edge of the 18-yard box. This is danger zone for Wellington.
Yeah, and we really need to see a bit more composure. You saw it where Wellington Phoenix, Vlock won it at the back there and tried to play it out. and gave it straight back to them. And you don't want that wave of attack coming back out at you. And of course, that one is there late, and Anna Marie, referee, right in the good position to give that one. And this is a dangerous free kick for Central Coast Mariners.
Well, it's Prakash Trimis, rather, with the responsibility. The Central Coast Mariners blue shirts off to her right. It's one of those free kicks, isn't it, where you're so close to the 18-yard box, it's difficult to try and get it up and over with the space available. Trimis does well, really, really well. That's one for the highlight film. Peter Trimis bends it around the wall, and the Mariners strike first at Porirua Park.
We've just talked about the weather, but she judged that one perfectly, up and over the wall. It's hard to keep those ones down. Makes it look easier than it is. And with the curl on the ball, Vic Essen at full stretch. What a goal that is to put the visitors ahead.
Fifth goal for the season for Peter Trimis. Well, a case of taking your opportunity inside the first quarter. Nothing Essen could do about it. It was expertly taken. Pinpoint accuracy. And the Mariners with a 1-0 lead and the wind at their backs.
I think what's going to be important here for the Wellington Phoenix as well is to try and stay positive, keep passing the ball forward. They've actually got one of the best record in the league for balls going forward. And this is better, and I think just straight back into the attack is what they need to do here.
Well, it was all Central Coast, wasn't it? After withstanding the initial onslaught from the hosts, they absorbed the pressure, started to utilise the conditions, just turned Wellington around, back-to-back corners. Eventually, concentration to concede a free kick. How quickly can Wellington try and equalise? Strike! Just up and over from Brooke Nunn. Not too far away from the former Mariner.
Best opportunity for the home side so far. It's Brooke Nunn, who it fell to, the former Central Coast Mariners player. Probably likes it on her right better, but not far off. Good play up there to keep it in the short corner. And I guess that's the wind playing a factor too. We see the visitors are putting the ball in the mix, but Wellington Phoenix having to play the short corner just because of that wind pulling the ball back.
Strong win by Walker. Anthony not able to keep that one in. I think it might be a throw to the Mariners. Instead, it's going to be Ellie Walker, who does possess a long throw. This one will be hurled in the direction of Lucia Leon, perhaps, or even Pia Vlock. Mackenzie Anthony looking to help it on. Farrow tries to link the play with Gomez, who's bundled over by Michaela Woods. She's an all-action player, Woods.
See that physicality in action, and Gomez is no pushover either. Michaela Woods getting in between the ball, lifting the arm a little bit there, a little bit lucky to get away with that one. But she brings that intensity, that grit that she's come to be known for.
It was that kind of hustle that picked the pocket of the Perth defenders last week. It was in stoppage time of the first half in a game that was meandering. That was the only goal. Oh, geez. Oh, just skidded up off the turf there. Good composure by Victoria Essen. In the end, the ball breaks for Anthony. 3 Americans, in fact, in this Wellington side, together with Michaela Woods and Ellie Walker. This is a ball into space, and Barry does well just to step across. Captain leading by example.
He's had an absolutely fantastic season so far, and just stepping into that leadership role since CJ Bott announced her pregnancy. As we saw Bauman, the left back, coming through. Swiss international.
Yeah, she has stepped really into that extra responsibility, hasn't she, Mackenzie Barry? Some excellent attributes such as speed, aggression. Now with the headed Captain Zamban on the left shoulder. Looking to influence and exert that influence on her team. That one's going to be too quick as well.
Saw Mania Elliott there just trying to pick a pass, and I guess it's those combination play that the Wellington Phoenix are going to have to work out. You've got some Mackenzie Anthony coming in for her first start, you know, building up that partnership with Michaela Woods and Lucia Leon. Just that link-up play is just missing a little bit for me so far with the Knicks.
Once again, just not able to get that restart and retain possession. Corey Babington, no doubt, will be happy with his team start, I'm sure. Collector's item, that free kick by Peter Trimmis.
Another thing that's intriguing about this game is Pia Vlock and her positioning. It's a good test for the 17-year-old. She's had quite a free rein playing up in the front three the last, well, her appearances so far for the Knicks. And here she's playing in a slightly more defensive role. You saw her play that ball back to Vicky Essen, which was a little dangerous in moments before. And there, just a silly foul, you could say.
Free kick once again into the danger zone. Vlock just helping it only as far as Bauman. She looks to measure a pass, only as far as Walker. Vandermeer rather. And Anthony's pass is just a little loose. Wellington just struggling to connect the dots at the moment, it should be said.
And I think it's that change that I think Bev Priestman had to make a few more changes than she would have ordinarily liked. I think just because of that Grace Jale missing at the back of the midfield there, and she's had to make 3 or 4 changes because of that. And you're just starting to see that at the moment. I think Wellington fans just a little bit rattled.
Yeah, perhaps just missing a little bit of that fluidity, that familiarity across a season can bring. Azendale looks to go long early and set off Michaela Woods, who's not going to give Taryn King and Liz Barwick-Gray a moment's rest in this game.
And I think the danger there is Wellington Phoenix start to just hit long balls, and you don't want to see that either. So, I mean, with this wild wind, you've just got to get the ball down, keep it, get some passes stringing together, get that confidence back up. Otherwise, you're just chasing the ball. You're going too transitional and in defence too much. So, like to see the Phoenix just get it down, get those passes back, and I think that will build their confidence.
And on the other side, Priscilla, is it more of the same for the Central Coast?
Yeah, and I think they're looking dangerous with the likes of Trimmis getting in behind. Lorena Bauman's made a few good runs down this left-hand side. So they've got plenty of attacking options. They've only had 5 players get on the goal sheet aside from Rasmussen. So I think also just look at who else might step up today and chase a goal.
Helped on by Farrow. Looking for the 3rd player run of Levin. Breaking through on what is listed as a just attacking 3 midfield, with Gomez sitting in behind. So almost a front 5 in operation for the Mariners. There's the fly to the ball. is impacted and makes its way all the way back down again. So spare a thought as well for our operators down at ground level and the ball kids too. Not easy to maintain the quality of picture coming out of Wellington. Central Coast finding some good real estate down the left-hand side of Wellington's defence. Perhaps isolating Mania Elliott, who is a little bit more of an attacking-minded player. Well, if this result was to stand, Central Coast would move up to 5th place. Wellington would stay in 2nd. But look how tight that table is. Really have the ability to move quite quickly if you string a couple of results together. The Yellow Fever will be hoping that their side can reverse the current stage of the match and see them atop the Ninja A-League ladder come full time. We do have that Melbourne derby later this evening. Victory hosting City. City currently sitting in top spot. Victory in 6th. Incidentally, those two teams will be the opponents of these two teams next week. Round 18. Wellington travelling to Melbourne to take on the Victory. Central Coast hosting City. There's Brooke Nunn just slowed down. There's Bauman just pushed into that space. If Nunn was able to get that first touch, there was really open pastures ahead of her. Grove. Well, she's lost possession here. And Woods only as far. But the equaliser comes through Mackenzie. Anthony tucks it home for her first goal for Wellington. And we go back level at Porirua Park.
First start and first goal for Mackenzie Anthony. Bit of messy play at the back, you have to say. Grove just getting caught on the ball and Lucia Leon hustling her way into that, and they still had a chance to clear it. Mackenzie Anthony was the first to pounce, and it's 1-1 here at Porirua Park.
Taryn King could only deflect it into the path of Anthony, who made no mistake. Michaela Woods perhaps didn't get the connection that she wanted, but no matter. Ball is in the back of the net, and we're back square.
Bit of Sunday League stuff there. Shot from the kickoff. I don't see that too often, but that just shows you how much they're backing themselves with the strong win.
Well, the hunt for a clean sheet for Annalie Grove continues. That high press from Wellington caught the goalkeeper. She does have the wind at her back, so whether or not the option just to smash it long and let the conditions do the rest. Tried to play out, in the end got herself all in a tangle. Anthony with her first goal for her new club. What a terrific scoring rate in the League of Ireland. 23 goals from 25 games for Sherborne United. And her first for the Knicks.
There's so much talk of these injuries at the Wellington Phoenix earlier in the season with the likes of Samba and Wynnum, who were forced out, but you have to say, Bev Priestman has made some fantastic signings.
Shot from distance. Just up and over the crossbar. Essen needed to be aware.
Izzy Gomez, in fact, no, it was Trimis who took that one on. And she's scored 5 goals in 5 different matches so far this season. Looking for another one. She's hungry. And only just sails over the bar.
Well, it's the kind of afternoon where those sorts of shots can fly in. She's already got a highlight reel. with that free kick. That would have been something else.
Peter Trimis, just 19 years of age, a real talent. And young Matilda, and also she's had 3 assists so far this season, so she's scoring them and she's setting up her teammates. Really the biggest goal threat, and needs to keep up that kind of attacking mode with the likes of Rasmussen having just transferred away.
That's exactly what you want, isn't it, from your squad, with your Corey Babington, is for those players that perhaps were sitting in behind a player like Rasmussen to then step up and fill the void. Trimis is having an afternoon here today so far in the first 30 minutes. Rosendale just turns into trouble. Gomez picks her pocket. Looking for Trimis again on the far side. Only as far as Krasula. Trimis is going to make this. He does ever so well to try and pull it back into the path of Farrow. Referee has a long look, decides play on, no foul there, and off go the Wellington Phoenix on the counter. Leon just perhaps waiting a little too long before releasing the pass, and she's paid the price here.
Wellington Phoenix living dangerously. It was Pia Block at the back, but we took a look now at this one because Lucia Leon has gone down with a grimace on her face. Is it the ankle? And she is in a lot of pain, not what you want to see.
Looked like a really clean challenge to the naked eye. Perhaps injured. She took a tumble, Leon. Lucia Leon. Well, how many of these fans will be backing up next week for the New Zealand derby in the Isuzu Ute A-League? Auckland FC coming to town. It is the fixture which captures the attention of the football family of Aotearoa, New Zealand. Auckland will be in action midweek against Sydney. Wellington with a fighting comeback in their match on Friday night. Leon's back up and okay. Some running repairs.
We talked about the Wellington Phoenix injuries, but also the Central Coast Mariners has really been hit with some big ones this year as well. Coco DeCipio, unfortunately, out for the rest of the season. She was another one who was scoring goals.
The injury has robbed a lot of teams across the A-League. When those players do drop out, it's an opportunity for others to step forward, and as we've seen in the case of Wellington, making the point earlier, Priscilla, talent identification has come up trumps with a couple of really good injury replacements in Michaela Woods and Mackenzie Anthony. We've seen Emma Pynenberg also return to New Zealand from the Netherlands. Perhaps the depth being tested of some of the other sides. There's good footwork from Brooke Nunn. Saw a slip there from Barwick Gray. Don't take your eyes off this fixture. Plenty of action.
Mackenzie Anthony, I think, really growing into this game. She's appeared 3 times as a sub so far, but this is her first start. Already has the goal, but did some nice work on that right-hand side just to tee up Brooke Nunn. That's better connection. And Nunn looking to keep getting those balls in early, which I think is the right approach.
Woods, and that shot is just fumbled by Grove. You can just see off picture, Lucia Leon has rejoined the fray, so she's okay.
Wellington Phoenix momentarily just didn't have the numbers in the box. You want to get 3, 4 inside that box when the crosses are coming in, and just a little bit isolated there, Michaela Woods. But good to see Lucia Leon back.
Here's an afternoon where some of those speculators can cause some real concern in the respective penalty areas. Grove just a little unsure of the handling. It's a fumble not able to be punished by Wellington. Just don't seem to be winning the midfield battle, do they, Wellington?
I think Prakash and Gomez in the middle for Central Coast Mariners are class players. Grazula's having a good game too, and I think they just keep pushing it over and turning the defence for Wellington, using that wind, I think, to their advantage.
Anthony trying to do a job to pin Baumann back. In the end, Swiss defender just carries on. Good path forward. Brazendale gets away with one. Not sure that was the intended destination of the pass, but it finds its way to Elliott. And she looks to go high and over the top. Grazula stepping in for Baumann. The fullback into the defensive line does enough. Ever present so far in terms of starts. Grazula 15 from 15 today. Again, Wellington is going to say get away with one. Oh, that was a clever thread. It's looking to the run of Farrow. It's a breathless encounter, isn't it, Priscilla? Real transition game at the moment.
Yeah, quite even in possession stats. You've got 54% for Wellington Phoenix, just slightly favouring their home side at the moment. It's nice to see Pierre Vogt just getting a bit more space. We haven't seen a lot of that this half.
Brooke Nunn starting to warm to the occasion as well as Vlock steps in, wins the ball, looks to link up with Lucia Leon. And a scramble, the ball comes clear. Wellington have to start again. Another wayward clearance from Essen. Caught in two minds there, whether to really put the foot through it or just try and clip it into space. One of those retreating midfielders or attackers to try and get the ball under control. In the end, possession gifted back to the Mariners. Once again, just skidding off the turf. You almost have to hold your breath every time the ball does move into that penalty area, wondering whether or not might wrong-footed goalkeeper pick up a gust of wind.
Yeah, better positioning that time from Vic Essen. She just, I guess, just paused and kept on her back foot instead of going too far forward. I guess that's you can't judge it with this one. It's going to either skid off or bounce high. She's really got to wait. And I think if they went into the half at 1-1, Bev Priestman would be pretty happy having the wind behind you in the second half. But there's still a lot to go in this first half.
Off goes Nunn. Just drifts into midfield. Elects to take the player on again, does Nunn. Still going. Can't link with Anthony. And the Mariners just seem to back off and invite Brooke Nunn into that space. There's a wayward pass in the end that eventually snuffed out the opportunity as Farrow versus Barry. Phoenix captain does enough and eventually clears for a throw-in.
Cash again in the midfield for Central Coast Mariners. She's really running the play in there. She does the one-touch through balls. Bev Priestman has very much said to her side, keep tight on her and on Gomez. At the moment, she's just showing some skill on the ball here again.
We had suggested it be Daisy Brazendale's responsibility on Prakash. Really looking to link the play in the front third. Here's Prakash as the blue shirts just crowd Vic Essen as we enter the final 5 minutes of the first half. Delivery is out around the penalty spot. Clean connection by Krasula, and only as far as a goal kick to restart us.
Hitting that back post, perhaps just looping that one up. You need some speed on the ball when you're wanting to come in and attack it. And definitely, I think for the Phoenix, if they can get some corners in the second half, they'll be looking to attack those as well.
I'm not sure setting up to play out in the final 5 minutes of the half is something that is in the best interests of Wellington, particularly with this breeze. Central Coast is set up to try and press, and they very nearly turn the ball over in a very dangerous area for Bev Priestman's side. Only a free kick conceded. Just eased the pressure on Wellington.
See the smile on the face from Lorena Baumann there. I'm liking the contest between her and Brooke Nunn, ex-teammates.
If they go again, this time Nunn elects to play out to Anthony, who does like to drift out to this right-hand touchline, which allows Brooke Nunn just to move inside the pitch one, try and exploit that space in between central defender and fullback. Baumann and King, who combined have over 140 appearances in the Ninja A-League. There's Prakash beating the offside trap here. First touch, takes her away from goal. And she manages to keep the ball in play and taken out of the gloves of the goalkeeper. Off go Wellington. Foul conceded. Central Coast really working hard to try and turn the ball over as soon as they can and heap pressure on Wellington.
There was a hint of offside there, but I think Prakash, that deep run in from midfield, which Bev Priestman talked about, was going to be a threat this game. She's done that. She's beaten the offside trap, but good work in the end by defence for Wellington.
A really intelligent run, wasn't it, from Prakash, right on the shoulder of Wellington's back three. Perhaps only 3 more minutes plus whatever stoppage time our officials can come up with for Central Coast to try and utilise this really strong tailwind.
That was better from the Phoenix, just linking up the ball to feet. Brazendale through to Lucia Leon and almost through to Woods.
Position coughed up this time by Central Coast as Vlok tries a strike from distance, which was blocked by Krasula. Levin works double time to put pressure on Brooke Nunn, who now is in a bit of space. How's the cross? Looking for runners. Well, it just bundles in off the knee. It's not a clear strike. Good contest between Annabelle Martin and Mania Elliott. Not sure who got the final touch on that, but it's a shot on target.
First time I recall Brooke Nunn getting in behind in that pocket of space down the right-hand side. Bit of a mix-up really, but Elliott trying to get in on it, and the defender did well.
Those balls across the penalty box are a nightmare, aren't they, for defenders running back towards their goal. Any connection on that, and that's own goal territory, combined with the run from wide areas from Mania Elliott in this case. Good play by Nunn.
She got to the byline, she looked up, she looked like she was picking a pass, but perhaps Elliott and Mackenzie Anthony just making a similar run on the same line.
Off she goes again, Brooke Nunn finishing the half strong. This time it's Woods who does well to link with Anthony. Phoenix in full flight. Two Americans combine on the right-hand side. Curling effort from Woods. Leon off the crossbar. Well, it was an excellent adjustment by Lucia Leon. Thumbs up. The cross was inviting, just stuck in the air. And while she didn't get a clean connection, enough to push it onto the crossbar.
Patient play there from the Wellington Phoenix, and you saw the final product almost squeezing in under the bar. Lovely play by Woods again.
Well, this right-hand side of Wellington is really finishing with a flourish. Brooke Nunn at the centre of the two biggest chances in the final 5. Sia Leon would have been another one for the highlight film. Well, just bouncing up, and is it going to be scrambled in? Great recovery by Victoria Essen. Marissa Vandermeer has got herself into a little tangle. Essen was on the deck and managed to get up and make herself big.
I think as a player, this is the time where you're just really wanting that halftime whistle to go. And this kind of win for this back line and the goalkeeper, Vic Essen, it's treacherous, isn't it? I mean, Marissa Vandermeer is a very good, composed player, and it just looked awkward. So they've got a minute to navigate here. And I guess just wanting to get in there and have a good chat with Bev Friesman on how their tactics will go in the second half.
Well, it's been an entertaining first 45. We're near the end of the time added on. Just 2 minutes signalled by fourth official Calvin Berg. 1-1, but well worth the price of admission. The chances that we've seen. Goals to Peter Trimmis and Mackenzie Anthony. They've got us locked at 1-1. There's still time for one more chapter to be written. Oh, good work, Prakash again. Oh, good ball too. Great first touch. And there it is in the shadows of half-time. An excellently crafted goal by the Central Coast Mariners. It's Levin with the final touch. Past Victoria Essen, but the control to bring it down and the composure for the finish, top class.
Things can change just in a flash, and it's that Prakash through ball we've talked about, this time linking up, and what a first touch by Tamar Levin to set herself up. She had all the time in the world to then pick her slot and finishes to put the visitors ahead just before the halftime break.
Well, Tamar Levin breaks Wellington Phoenix hearts in stoppage time of the first half. Really excellently taken goal, her second of the season in her 51st appearance. Well, what about the assist by Avani Prakash? Excellently measured pass. The first touch was sublime. And the presence of mind to squeeze past Victoria Essen as she looked to narrow the angle. Great team goal. This first half has finished with an absolute flourish. Chances at both ends. Central Coast take a narrow advantage. And there is the half-time whistle. Tamar Levin's goal and stoppage time separates these two sides. Half-time at Porirua Park. It's Wellington Phoenix 1, Central Coast Mariners 2. Hoki mai anō, welcome back to Porirua Park, where the halftime score sees the Central Coast Mariners with a 2-1 advantage over the hosts Wellington Phoenix. Wet conditions, wild conditions, but the action on the pitch has been excellent. 3 really well taken goals, despite the wet and wild conditions we find ourselves in. The crowd has been entertained. And for the Wellington fans, they'll be hoping to break a hoodoo which has seen them never in their history defeat the Central Coast Mariners. Well, let's take a look at the goal action of the first half. And we opened with an absolute screamer to Peter Trimmis, a free kick in the 16th minute, right up where the Spiders live. Past the outstretched hands of Victoria Essen. Maybe the wind playing its role in that. Certainly the conditions playing a role in the equaliser, which came through Mackenzie Anthony, her first goal in her first start for the Wellington Phoenix. Making no mistake on a rebound from Taryn King. Michaela Woods' strike was blocked by the Mariners captain, but only as far as Anthony, who tucked it home. And then after a flurry of late chances, it was Avani Prakash who picked the pass for Tamar Levin. And the midfielder with a great first touch and an excellent body shift to roll home with the left foot. Sends her side into the break with a narrow advantage over the high-flying Wellington Phoenix. And Priscilla Duncan, let's take a look at the halftime stats. And excellence in the opposition box is what stands out to me with the Central Coast Mariners. Yeah, coming into this game, they had the best record of converting shots into goals. And you see that there, they're absolutely clinical. 3 shots on target, and they've got the 2 goals. They've also had a few corners there, and with this win, have been really threatening. And I'm sure Wellington Phoenix will be wanting to do the same in the second half. Well, not without their chances, the home side. Certainly has been plenty of action. And in the early stages, it was only the presence of mind of Annabelle Martin which kept Michaela Woods at bay. This was another half chance to Brooke Nunn against her old team. Flashing wide of Annalie Groves upright. This was an excellent adjustment by Lucia Leon off the crossbar. Thumbs up. But moments after, it was Levin. It broke their hearts. For the Mariners, they're playing the first half with a huge tailwind at their back. And this was a long clearance which just had Victoria Essen scrambling. She clawed it away for one of 4 corners for the visitors. Trimmis had a sighter from distance after that free kick. And Prakash, who has been busy breaking from midfield, was able to keep the ball alive here. Mackenzie Barry just stepping across in front of her goalkeeper and eventually clearing her lines. And Marissa Vandermeer, you see there just the hesitation in the defence. That wind is causing Izzy Gomez had that chance snuffed out by Essen. So while the fans rug up and keep warm, we will start to think about the second half, Priscilla. What might be the changes that Bev Priestman starts to think for her side to get back into the game? Well, I think you've got Pia Block, who's a real threat, having scored 5 goals this season, and she's had to play slightly deeper this game. I think she'll be wanting to find a way that she can have slightly more free roll and free reign up there. Mackenzie Anthony's had a good start, and with that goal, of course. But the central midfield, I think, for Central Coast Mariners, they've just been dominating in that space. So a bit of a battle there. I think she'll be telling her players to try and win that midfield battle this half. No Grace Jarley today for Wellington. Her absence being felt perhaps in that midfield battle. As it stands now, it will be the Central Coast Mariners that find their way into the top 6. Plenty more to come as we return on the other side of this break with the second half of this match between the Wellington Phoenix and Central Coast Mariners. Hoki mai anō, welcome back to Porirua Park, where the halftime score sees the Wellington Phoenix trail the Central Coast Mariners by 2-1. Wet and wild conditions here in the capital. Brooke Nunn has been busy. The Nix family will be looking forward to the next instalment of the New Zealand derby. Their team yet to register a win against Auckland FC. So far this season, a 2-1 win to the Black Knights in Wellington, a 3-1 win in Auckland, and they return to Sky Stadium for Edition 3 next weekend. Well, Priscilla Duncan, Central Coast Mariners will be happy with their first 45 minutes work. They lead here 2-1.
Yeah, they've had a very good afternoon so far. They came off that bye, so they've got fresh legs, no concerns there. I guess you've got Wellington Phoenix also have had a 9-day break, so I don't think fitness or legginess should be a factor here, but everything to play for.
No changes to either side. Ball's off on its own. So rain shower blusters across Porirua Park. Central Coast in navy blue attacking the goal to the right of your picture. The black and yellow of the Wellington Phoenix with a tailwind attacking the goal to your left. 2-1 in favour of the Mariners. Remember, they have never been beaten by their hosts in 4 previous attempts. In fact, Wellington only scoring their second goal today against their opponents. The owner of that first goal is on the bench, Emma Main. We see her injected into the second half as Bev Priestman's side look to find a way back into their match. Remember, 3 points would see them sit atop of the Ninja A-League, perhaps only for a few hours before that Melbourne derby result later on this evening. Victory taking on City later on tonight.
Interesting opening exchanges here. You see a bit of ping pong as both teams will now adjust to having the wind behind them and going into the wind.
Saw Central Coast really warm to the task of having that wind at their backs in the first half. Really, by the end of the 45, they locked down how they wanted to play. Perhaps took them over half an hour to work it out. Now it's Wellington's turn.
Marshalling the troops there, Bev Priestman. The other thing I'd be saying to my players is shoot. Shoot from anywhere. With this wind, you never know what's going to happen. So you might see some long shots from the likes of Pierre Vlock and others today.
Grace Jale is one that does like a long shot, who's not here, and Manaya Elliott just heeding the words of Priscilla Duncan. An early sighter into the back stanchion.
They must have heard me. That's the thing. I mean, I think they saw the visitors do that in the first half, so why not go for it? Trimmer's had a good sighter in the first half for the Mariners, and that's what you want to see. Good curl in, and at least just put the goalkeeper under pressure.
There's a couple of blips from Annalie Grove in the first half. One caught on the ball by Lucia Leon, which led to Mackenzie Anthony's opening goal, the equalising goal.
The other thing I like to see with this Phoenix side, there's real competition for places. You've got Manaya Elliott there, who's with Lara Wall. fighting for that wing-back position. You've got Emma Main, who was starting a lot earlier in the season. She's on the bench. She might want to come in, make an impact. Opportunities as well for, say, Daisy Brazendale, who's got her second start today. So just wanting to make their mark and force themselves into that first 11.
Barry draws a foul from Prakash, who was really at the centre of a lot of the great work from the Mariners in the first half.
Prakash has already had 3 yellow cards this season. Second to Gomez, who's actually had 6. She's had to sit out the game, Izzy Gomez. She was the first to reach those 5 yellow cards in the A-League before you have to sit out the match. You have to watch that one.
So it'll be Pia Vlok. Whether this will just be lofted in the general direction of the 18-yard box. It's a curl delivery. Somewhat of a hopeful ball from distance. Not really sure who the intended target was there. In the end, it's harmlessly out for a goal kick. As Priestman has given instructions for her bench to go and warm up.
Might take a bit to get warm.
Got the winter jackets on. Maybe Emma Main will be the one missed out last week. She returns from injury. Goals already for her this season. And we saw this in the first half from Wellington, didn't we, Priscilla? Just not able from those restarts to really try and retain possession. It's almost a case of trying to get it as far away from the goal as possible.
Dickinson might also feel better about herself, seeing the opposite number. Check it out for a throw, and we've seen that a couple of times in the first half, but I guess they'll just have to figure that one out, see whether to play it on the ground to get out. And Wellington Phoenix, I'm sure, will no doubt be doing a high press in this half.
Really is an exercise in trying to adjust the skill and the understanding of the game to the conditions here today. You can't go out and just expect to play like you do every week, because those external factors start to play a part. So really, skill and understanding so crucial in this fixture. Yeah, just pokes a head in. He ends up turning possession over high. They can start to play a bit of territory here, Wellington. Perhaps those difficult moments of concentration. The Central Coast will potentially become exposed. They work the ball from one side to the other. Shoot is the call from the Yellow Fever. Walker. No closer than Mania Elliott's effort earlier, but shoot from distance seems to be the option, Priscilla.
Yeah, I like that. Doesn't matter where you are on the pitch. Ali Walker, she's already scored a goal this season, a bit different from that one, but it's worth a go. Ali Walker has played every minute for the Wellington Phoenix. He has really led this side well coming in. Sometimes it takes those American imports or international imports a while to get adjusted to the league, but she's been a fantastic signing for the right side.
Picked up her first goal in that 5-1 win over Newcastle a few weeks ago. First time Wellington have won 3 away matches in a season. A few firsts for Bev Priestman's side this year. First time to set atop the Ninja A-League as well. First time to win 4 matches in a row. Today would be the first time to defeat the Central Coast Mariners. To do so, they need to find a minimum of 2 goals at this stage.
The other thing she has talked about is there's this game and the one against Melbourne Victory away next week. So that's 2 games before the international break. They've got 4 wins out of 4, so she wants to keep that momentum running and get as many points from these 2 games as she can, because you've got that international break. You never know what's happening. There's 7 Phoenix players who are going to be away with the Football Ferns. That just breaks up that momentum. So really looking to secure some points here today and next week.
It's been a good run of matches since the last international break.
Those Knicks players no doubt will be looking forward to those Football Ferns fixtures. coming up for the qualifiers, and who knows, maybe a couple of players in the mix here. Annalise Rasmussen, of course, we've talked about. She's gone to Juventus from Central Coast Mariners, but talk of her potentially pushing her way into that Matilda squad. You've got Izzy Gomez, the number 6 here for the visitors, has already scored a cap for the Matildas against Argentina last year, so that team hasn't been named yet for the Asian Cup, but a couple in the mix there.
Yep, middle of the week for that Matildas squad. Be the last thing on Corey Babington's mind. Trying to get his side back into the conversation for playoffs. As it stands, they would move up to 5th place. Start of the day in 8th. Still over 30 minutes of football to play. Trimis can't get the better of Vandermeer. Woods' control just lets her down. Annabelle Martin, former Wellington player herself, over 100 appearances in the Ninja A-League. Is that ball out of play? Just see on that far side of the pitch from our position here. Question for me, Priscilla, will be with a 2-1 lead, do the Central Coast look to try and manage this last 30+ minutes? Do they go on the offensive and try and get a 2-goal break? You know, Wellington will come after them. They're a fast finishing side as well, the Phoenix, not only a fast starting side. Late goals we've seen. I think back to the away match against the Brisbane Roar. Brooke Nunn's speculator. Get up in the back of the net to salvage an away point. It's been an excellent run of form for Wellington. Only losing 1 of their last 8 fixtures. So they are on a bit of a tear.
And you talk about Central Coast Mariners maybe trying to hold on, but they'll potentially have nightmares of that game against Melbourne Victory earlier in the season. They were 3-0 up at home and conceded 3 goals to draw the game. So it's a dangerous tactic.
It was a wild match, that one.
And Walker's not happy with this challenge. I think perhaps she's claiming it's an elbow to the head, but I don't know if the Central Coast Mariners have much to do with it.
It's reeled away to the American defender. I wonder whether that might have been a case of friendly fire. Nothing given in the end, and Walker will continue. Woods thought about a strike perhaps. Or was she looking to open the play in the end? It's up with neither. A forceful shot nor a cross of any substance. Snapshot from Elliott.
Yeah, Woods in 2 minds there. I think it's just that link-up play again. She's getting used to that combination with Mackenzie Anthony, perhaps just not reading the run of her fellow American. Thinking about the shot and then hesitating. Mania Elliott with a snapshot. She was the 2nd highest goal scorer for the Knicks last season. To add to her tally this season.
Brought up 50 appearances for Wellington. Product of the Melville United Academy in Hamilton. As we tick towards the hour mark, both Priestman and Babington might think about shuffling their pack. Normally start to see changes. So this game really finely poised. Hasn't found its flow so far in the second half. Nunn, who finished the first half really strongly. Hasn't been a feature so far in the first 15 minutes or so. Can see a couple of Wellington Phoenix players getting ready. There's Emma Main going through her final paces. Looks as though Emma Pynenberg as well getting ready to come in. So it will be a double change for Wellington. Emma Main coming in for the goal scorer, Mackenzie Anthony. And Emma Pynenberg coming in for Lucia Leon. So I dare suggest those are two straight swaps. Emma Main will link up with Michaela Woods. And Emma Pynenberg will sit in just behind the front two. Main straight into the action, keeping the ball alive. It's found its way to Brooke Nunn. And she earns Wellington a corner. So a positive impact straight off the bench for Emma Main.
Exactly what you want to see from your subs. Lively, getting to the ball when everyone else was thinking it was going to go out. It's a good opportunity for Emma Main, who grew up in Upper Hutt. She last started against Canberra. She was sick against Adelaide and has missed the last couple of games. I guess just with that competitive nature of the squad, she's got some minutes here to prove herself.
Delivery in towards the near post, only as far as Prakash. There'll be another corner. In swinging delivery from Mania Elliott. Jostling inside the 6-yard box. It's again at the near post. No danger for the Mariners. Trying to play their way out of their defensive third.
Mania Elliott putting both of those two corners into the near post. I'd just like to see her lift one of those up and put it in the mix a little bit deeper. The first one didn't work, so I think the opportunity was there to go a bit longer, but it was easy enough for Central Coast Mariners to defend. Well,
don't forget, later tonight, Melbourne derby from the home of the Matildas. It's victory against City. City currently with a 2-point lead over Wellington, sitting atop the Ninja A League. Yeah, topsy-turvy. A couple of rounds. Really compact table. See at the top of your picture. The Mariners bench has been emptied as well, so they're getting ready perhaps to ready some changes. They made 2 substitutions in that 2-2 draw against Brisbane last time they were in action. They should have plenty of fresh legs available. Interesting to see if they can hold on to this lead, how deep they get into the second half before they start thinking about defensive reinforcements. As you rightly point out, Priscilla, they have had moments this season where they've been sitting on a lead and seen that crumble away. As Woods wins the battle, as so often she does. Trying to link with another player in black and yellow. No foul given. Play on. Here's Anna-Marie Keeley.
Michaela Woods just looking for the foul there. She did well initially to win this challenge. Good to see her drive forward, but a touch let her down. Then came back to make the challenge. I think it was fair call to let that one go.
Experience of Taryn King. It's just lent on the American, who felt the contact and tumbled to the Porirua Park floor, looking for the foul. Saw Our opening goal by Peter Trimmis from a similar spot. Woods just waiting for the ball to be in play before she can re-enter. Throw in goes harmlessly towards King. Goal kick is the final outcome there.
Good battle in there between the captain, Karen King, and Michaela Woods. I thought Woods had a better shout that time. Perhaps just the leg stayed in there and she tumbled over. I think the other thing tactically for the Wellington Phoenix here is interesting is Pia Block now will have a slightly more free run with Emma Peineberg and Daisy Brazendale acting as the double pivot in the midfield. So if Pia Block can get into more advanced positions, linking up with the likes of Woods and Emma Main, who's come on, I think he might have a few more chances for the home side to try and convert.
Well, after that hat-trick against Newcastle, you would expect the rest of the Ninja A-League clubs to keep a close eye on Pia Block. 5 goals for the 17-year-old. He's definitely finding herself under closer scrutiny, which in theory would open up opportunities for other players. Still got so much football ahead of her. She's one of the 7 named in the Football Ferns. They will start their first steps on the road to the FIFA Women's World Cup in Brazil, up in the Solomon Islands. Possession given away straight to Brooke Nunn. Her first reaction was to shoot.
Better from the Phoenix. If they can just pin the Central Coast Mariners now in their defensive third, this is what we saw essentially in the first half, but roles reversed. Clear, and only as far as Mania Elliott, but her touch is not able to maintain possession. Wellington looking to really get on with things quickly here. Second time we've seen them pulled back. There's a couple of changes now. Here comes Tiana Fuller and Eliza Familton, so the 2 teenagers. Prakash ends a really excellent afternoon's work, as well as Tamar Levin, goal scorer. So some youthful exuberance injected by Corey Babington. Both have been regulars off the bench for the Mariners this season, yet to start a game, either of these 2. Charged with trying to close this match out, perhaps. Yeah, I'm almost surprised to see that Ivani Prakash has been at the centre of everything today in the midfield. He looked the most likely to be in the mix for more goals, perhaps, but taken off for these 2 young teenagers. Eliza Familton, she has scored a goal this season. Scored on debut against Newcastle Jets.
A little hairy moment there. A real threat for Grove. This is the stuff that perplexes me at times. Persisting with trying to play out when the conditions perhaps aren't conducive. You just start to invite pressure on yourself. You know it's difficult to play out and play through the thirds. Often a lot of the longer restarts are finding their way over the sideline, but when you do invite pressure on, as we saw, cracks can start to appear. As we look at the next 5 games for Wellington, beginning with that away match at their victory for the Brisbane Roar Sydney FC. Return game against the Mariners in Western Sydney. Eve Priestman trying to pick off as many of the 21 points available for her side as they look to try and make a push for the finals for the very first time in the club's history.
And we heard Eve Priestman say earlier this week they haven't been at their best. I'm not sure they can be at their best today in these conditions, but interesting to hear her say that when you've got the likes of beating Sydney 7-0, but she still feels like there's more for this team to show, perhaps in those next fixtures coming up when the weather conditions are a little better. She can see them at their best as she wants to.
Off go the Mariners. And there's a bit of space here for Hamilton. Good work by Elliott. No sign of Lara Wall. It's been the regular change for Bev Priestman. I wonder whether, when chasing a game, the attacking instincts of Manaya Elliott might play out for a bit longer. Ball breaks for Woods. Not too many yellow shirts up ahead of her. She is scythed down by Gomez. No real complaint. The Mariners midfielder.
As I said, she's had 6 yellow cards so far, and the yellow fever wanted a 7th there, perhaps. Annabelle Martin covering defence there as well, vastly experienced defender. Central Coast Mariners. Lizzie Gomez, a real start for Central Coast Mariners as they went on to win the championship last year. Scored in the semi and the grand final.
See the area that Vlock was trying to hit, but the execution left a lot to be desired. Second wasteful free kick from memory here in the second half. Set piece has been a real friend of the Phoenix so far this season, but that clinical element seems to have escaped them in the first 70 minutes of this game. Scored 5 goals from corners already. Perhaps missing the aerial threat of Grace Jale today. They missed start there from Ellie Walker. Greasy ball. Oldenburg stepped in at the right opportunity there, but second ball not able to be secured by the home team. And as the minutes tick away, I just wonder whether that sense of urgency and frustration starts to build amongst the home side, Priscilla.
And it's playing into Central Coast Mariners' hands, I think. They are probably quite happy to play counter-attacking football. You see that the Wellington Phoenix were almost exposed there at the back. They'll just sit deep now. Just under 20 minutes to go. They won't mind balls through like that. Experience here of Annabelle Martin, who I mentioned before, the number 5 for the Central Coast Mariners, over 100 caps in the Ninja A-League. She's the kind of leader out there who can get the visitors through if they are to hang on to this win. Maybe debut at 16 and spent a number of years at Melbourne Victory.
Vlock thought she might have been in there. Referee's whistle halts proceedings. Boos rain out from the yellow fever. Mariners repel another Wellington attack.
Looks like she got the ball there for me. Could have been in a dangerous position to shoot. Not sure if they've had a chat, Corey Ivington, with his team, but I feel that Pia Vlock's really been shut down today. She's always got 1-2 defenders close on her, and I think one of the things Phoenix have to think about, if they're targeting her, shutting her down, who else can she lay the ball through to who may have more space?
Well, off she goes, block. And it's a pass played into the path of Emma Main. Sliding shot into the gloves of Annalie Grove. Well, straight ball, angled run.
Emma Main in the action again, the substitute. It was a lovely ball through from Pia Vlok. Straight to the goalkeeper. Perhaps just could have tried to take it into the far corner, or had one of those ones where the goalkeeper palms it out to the oncoming Michaela Woods.
Nunn's cross. Is headed clear. And all 11 of the Mariners in their own half as they batten down the hatches. As we start to move towards the final 15 minutes of the second half.
Wellington Phoenix have had 11 goal scorers this season. Priestman has talked about goals by committee, so I'll keep an eye on whoever it could come from. Plenty of options.
We've seen the likes of Zoe Benson come off the bench and score at crucial times. I don't like to rely too much on the statistics, but they do suggest that Wellington don't mind scoring in the final 15 minutes 7 times so far this season. There's Tess Quilligan. Comes in for Millie Farrow. Whether this is an indication of now starting to just reinforce that defensive third, look for some solidarity, hold on to this 2-1 lead.
Tess Quilligan, another youngster, 20 years of age, coming on for the visitors. Signed a 2-year contract in 2024. Made 10 appearances last season, including in the grand final. So you've got her, as well as Tiana Fuller, who's also come on, who we mentioned earlier. She appeared in that grand final and scored a penalty, the championship title. So hopefully these youngsters coming on for the Mariners can make an impact.
Plenty of experience too packed in. 41, now 42 appearances in the A-League for Quilligan. You want coming into these closing stages, lean on that championship experience. It's often in the heat of these really topsy-turvy encounters where champions are found. Wellington certainly weren't at their best last week when they defeated Perth 1-0. You'd suggest they haven't been at their best either today. If they can come out of this game, perhaps with a point, maybe even take all 3, I'd say they were the real deal. The Central Coast, you can never count them out of the conversation. They do have a lot of quality across the pitch. They are only a point outside the top 6.
And I think sometimes when you're playing those teams that are just outside the top 6, they're almost the hardest opposition. They're so motivated. Of course, they won the championship last year. They want to be in the finals again this year. New coach, Corey Babington, had a bit of a change from Emily Husband, who took them to the title last year. She's now involved with the Tildas as an assistant coach, but they're looking good. They've had a good afternoon coming here in this windy conditions.
Another free kick for the Mariners to defend. Elliott goes direct at goal. The wind catches that and harmlessly, if you're a Mariners fan, over the crossbar. Third set piece now wasted for Priestman's side.
And those are those ones you're not quite sure what to do with. They're a little bit too centre of the park. They're a little bit too far out to shoot, a little bit too central to cross it. But we've got to see more quality from free kicks and corners. I think in the first half we saw a lot more threat from Central Coast Mariners, particularly on those corners.
Woods just loses her footing.
Hopefully she's picked the right sprigs today. Foot, it's going to be pretty wet out there. But I'm sure they are used to these conditions. As we've said, they train in them week in, week out.
The Familiar sight of possession. Falling out over the near sideline here at Porirua Park. Wellington still not able to capitalise on the territorial advantage. Almost the entire second half has been played down this end. That one straight into the welcoming arms of Grove.
I think the other thing we've missed this game is the width. You see Brooke Nunn there playing very central. And I'm surprised I haven't seen her out getting past into those channels of space down the right-hand side as I'm used to seeing her in the other games.
Finished the first half strongly. Brooke Nunn in some of those wide areas. It was a driven cross, I recall, in the first half, which really found its way into the back of the net. Anaya Elliott arriving at speed. These are the types of deliveries that you want to see in the closing stages. There's a bit of hesitation from Quilligan as she adjusts to coming off the relative comfort of the Central Coast Mariners bench onto this howling gale. And the man tries to link with Brooke Nunn. Up comes Ellie Walker for another long throw. Time starting to tick away from Wellington. I'm sure Mariners fans tuning in across the ditch will be clearing every Wellington attack together with your Mariners. It's been an excellent performance from the visitors. First half smash and grab, and backs against the wall so far as we head towards the 80th minute of this one.
The kind of the time in the game where the tactics almost go out the window. I mean, you can talk about the Central Coast Mariners playing a 4-2-3-1 and, you know, setting up their defence, but there's less than 10 minutes to go. This weather is atrocious, let's be honest. But, you know, Central Coast Mariners are chasing that top 6 spot. Wellington Phoenix, meanwhile, could go top of the table, so it's just everything to play for. It comes down to motivation and just who wants it more now.
Yeah, great point. That desire starts to come through now, doesn't it? Momentum, previous history, previous results. They don't count for much. There's another goal kick. Block has been kept out of the scoring action. Michaela Woods' threat has been blunted as well. Central Coast live dangerously. That tells a story, doesn't it? 20 shots on goal for Wellington. They've only been able to find the back of the net once through Mackenzie Anthony. Outside of that, it's been a frustrating second half for the Knicks. Still 10 minutes or so to go in this one.
And we've mentioned Grace Jarley. She has been missed in this middle of the park. She's physical. She wins those duels. She takes a bit of pressure off those other attacking players.
So Lara Wall, will it be her delivery maybe from wide areas? Priestman's side will look to straight swap for Manaya Elliott. Got a couple of willing targets in Woods and Main. Just wonder whether my eyes caught the figure of Ali Walker. Perhaps redeployed as a striker, an aerial threat. Looks to me as though she is running here in the front line. This is her on the ball now, so there's a little joker in the pack for Bev Priestman.
Yeah, really mixing it up here. Brooke Nunn's popped over to this left-hand side as well. Emma Main's gone out right. And Ali Walker, as you say, up the middle. So really just trying to chase the game here and mix it up. So catching Central Coast off guard.
I wonder whether that might be that delivery from Lara Wall from wide areas, looking for the target of Ali Walker. Looks as though Wall has gone into a right-sided defensive role. Pia Vlock just once again concedes a free kick. The frustration from Vlock. Thought she'd won the ball cleanly.
Yeah, a bit of a frustrating day for the youngster. And I think the Central Coast Mariners, I guess she lost her footing and a bit unlucky there, Pia Vlock. She's had a decent game, but I guess in these conditions, she likes the ball on her feet to show her sort of skills. So it's not the kind of game where Pia Vlock's really been able to just, you know, show off what she's really made of.
So Ali Walker now running through the middle, up front, the tall timber, the target perhaps. So it looks to be a permanent change now as Wellington chase the game. Professional performance from Central Coast. They've really managed the second half and the limited opportunities that they've had as Gomez. Is there time for one more gut-busting run from midfield? Wins a foul and applause for Gomez. Still young in terms of her age, but there's the experience coming through. Slow it down. Let's set it up properly.
Great play there from Izzy Gomez. She took on 1-2 defenders and eventually bundled over. Central Coast Mariners have had a few calls just go their way in the last 5 minutes or so. It's good game management from the visitors because all these stoppages just are hard to kind of pick back up the momentum. Phoenix want to get back down the other end of the park, get some shots off. Everything's just been stopped.
Well, it would be a priceless goal now if the Mariners were able to find a way through. Good hands from Victoria Essen, who's essentially been a spectator in the second half. Tries to get an attack underway. Ball falls to Emma Main. She can't connect with Vlock. And off go Central Coast. It's almost a 3v3 as the blue shirts come forward. Fuller. And it's a heavy foul on Mackenzie Barry.
Tiana Fuller there, the substitute for the Mariners, just no attempt at going for the ball there. Clear foul.
Strong shout for a handball. The yellow fever, I think it's undeniable. Marie Keeley closer to the action. Signals for a throw-in. Zoe Benson's got a last-minute SOS from Bev Priestman, and she will replace Brooke Nunn. Seen her score off the bench already this season. Is this a chance for her to make a name for herself once again for Priestman's side? 3.5 minutes of normal time plus whatever stoppage. This is really clever from Central Coast. Just looking to turn Wellington around. It's okay if they turn possession over. Wellington, they've got 80, 90 metres to go. It'll be demoralising. And might not be one for the purist, but in terms of grinding out a result, it's been a real masterclass from Babington's side.
And I think back to the first half, it was just, I guess, we're heading into the half, and in a moment, you know, the Central Coast Mariners scored out of nothing. So There's not long to go on the match, but you never know. That could happen again here.
It's been gripping. It's been enthralling. And equal parts frustrating as well. And Babington checking his watch. No hurry from any of the Central Coast players to get play back underway. This will be hurled into the corner. And again, the challenge will be thrown down to Wellington. Well, off you go, guys. 100 metres to try and turn this one around. Good luck to you.
Yeah, really clever from the Central Coast Mariners. Just playing a territory game at this stage, just putting it into the corners, down the sidelines, getting the throw-ins. There's no momentum that the Phoenix can build.
Try as they might Wellington. It's almost one of the situations where the harder they try, the further away it feels like they are going to be from creating momentum, from creating that little clever pass, that little turn, that little shimmy that works, an opportunity to try and get a shot in, to try and find an equaliser.
And this is the moment you really want to switch the play. Everything's been down this right-hand side for 5-10 minutes, it feels like. And I think if Wellington Phoenix can get their foot on it, just go out, use Marissa van der Meer as an outlet and hit it down the left-hand side to try something different.
Yeah, nothing at all on this left-hand side in the last 15 minutes or so for Wellington. Ali Walker's deployed as an old-school number 9. She can't even feed off any scraps here. Central Coast just choking any space that the Phoenix have got. Again over the sideline. Slung into the box. Michaela Woods can't control. 3 Mariners defenders around her. Now, can they open up? They stick with that right-hand channel. It's flicked on. The yellow shirts come forward. Falls to Vlock. And her shot goes harmlessly wide. Has it taken a touch on the way through? Wellington thinks so. And corner is given. Well, this is a big moment for the Central Coast Mariners to have to navigate Priscilla.
Real hesitation there from referee Anna-Marie Cleveland, and you see both sets of players appealing for their corner or goal kick. This is a really dangerous opportunity here.
Blocks delivery. Looking for the target. And it's up off the head of Emma Main. Over the crossbar, almost rushed onto her. And she couldn't control the connection.
Wonderful delivery from Pia Vlock. That's more like it. We haven't seen that from them in the second half. Right in the dangerous area. And you're just going to do everything you can to try and get that ball down and skidding off the surface.
Yeah, just got the angle wrong, did Emma Main. 5 minutes of time added on. Nearly 1.5 gone. A little bit of gamesmanship from Annalie Grove. I think she's been flashed a yellow card for time wasting. We'll check that one out later. Stay with the live action. Ball hacked into open spaces. The wind picks it up. Sprinting across the field to try and keep the ball in play. Loose pass.
Desperation stuff here. You see these challenges, sliding tackles starting to come in, these last exchanges, and that wind is still playing a part. Pushing the ball out to that right-hand side. Phoenix really need to get it into the middle. And I've mentioned her before, but Grace Jarley plays a key pivot role for the Wellington Phoenix. So I think the others have stepped in and tried to fill that gap, but she's been really missed today.
2 balls on the field of play. Again, frustrate Wellington. Lara Wall hurls it towards the 18-yard box, only as far as Gomez, whose cushioned header Is helped on, and out it goes again. Seconds ticking away. It's a priceless win for the Central Coast Mariners if they can stick on. They will go to 5 from 5 and continue to be the bogey team for Wellington. High hopes coming into this game that today could be the day Wellington finally crack the Mariners. As it stands, it is going to be 3 points back to the Central Coast and back to the drawing board for Bev Priestman. Oh, it's a tough watch if you're a Wellington fan, isn't it? Throw in, head clear. Throw in, head clear. And the foul to boot, and a yellow ticket as well for Michaela Woods. Smile and a thumbs up from Bellman. Every bit of her experience coming through in these closing stages.
An interesting one there. I think there's been other challenges in this game worthy of a yellow card compared to that one. I thought she got her body in between the player and the ball. There was always a yellow card coming in this game, but that was a surprise for me. Just that frustration from Wellington Phoenix, so there's not much time left at all, and it just keeps going down this right-hand side, as you said, Seamus. Throw in, header out, throw in, header out, and they just need to open up, switch the play if they get any chance of possession.
All eyes on referee Anna-Marie Keeley. 30 seconds plus whatever she has up her sleeve. They need to go almost coast to coast to Wellington and win possession. Pia Vlock. They go out through the left-hand side. They go long through the middle, only as far as Krazula.
And Marissa van der Meer was there on the left as the outlet, and he just needed to go there. They may not have another chance.
Van der Meer remonstrating with her teammates, looking for that out ball on the left-hand side. Slung forward. Good touch, Ali Walker. Tried to lick the play with Michaela Woods. More direct from Wellington. 5 minutes have been played out. Central Coast hoof it as far away from their goal as they can. Essen can only find a Mariners shirt. And the final whistle. Celebrations for the Central Coast Mariners. Corey Babington has masterminded a 2-1 win at Fortress Porirua Park. This one finishes Central Coast Mariners 2, Wellington Phoenix 1. Well, Yellow Fever, they'll depart frustrated. Found their way back into the match with an equaliser to Mackenzie Anthony, but a goal in stoppage time of the first half was enough for a 2-1 win. Central Coast move into the top 6. Wellington stay in second place. And don't forget the Melbourne derby coming up between Melbourne Victory and Melbourne City. Coming up a little bit after this. Well, this one is in the books. From me, Seamus Martin, on behalf of Priscilla Duncan. It's good night from Porirua Park, and we will see you next time.